Has begun and I'm going to start the session. My name is Melissa Jones and I want to welcome you all to this ConnectED Adobe training that we're hosting this morning. I took a look at the polls earlier and noticed that just about everyone on the call has actually received their ConnectED donation already from Adobe, or at least been accepted into the program. So welcome. We're very pleased to have you and pleased to have your participation. This conference call this morning is focused on helping to orient you to our Adobe ConnectED portal so that you can find all of the software, all of the resources, and everything that you need to be successful. We're also going to review all of the available curriculum and professional development that Adobe's created to help you make the most of the donation and the software that you'll be receiving through the program. And finally, we'll have some time at the end to answer your questions and provide support to you as you get up and running with the donation. So first I wanted to take a moment to just introduce you to the Adobe ConnectED team. Tacey Trubich, who's on the call this morning, is the lead for our team. You'll probably be hearing from Tacey throughout. We also have Emily Seamus joining our team. She'll be the ConnectED program manager and most likely will be reaching out to you as well. My name is Melissa Jones and I manage all of our professional development student certification programs worldwide for Adobe, including all of the training that you'll be participating in through Connect. Matt Niemitz, also on the call this morning, manages our curriculum and the Adobe Education Exchange online portal, which you've all used to fill out your ConnectED application and which you'll be using as your hub and your portal moving forward as you are interacting with your donation and with Adobe. And then finally, Claire Irwin, who's not on the call, manages our community, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about how the Adobe Education community can help support you in your work with the ConnectED program. So very quickly, I know just about everyone on the call has already begun the process of applying for ConnectED donations and receiving your software, but just wanted to give you a little bit of background on ConnectED. I'm sure most folks are familiar, but ConnectED is a program that's coming out of the White House and really initiated by, really initiated by President Obama and the White House Education Technology team. So President Obama has set 4 goals for the ConnectED program to help transition America's schools to digital learning over the next 5 years. Those 4 goals are to upgrade connectivity, provide better access to learning devices, support teachers to change their practice, and provide access to digital learning resources. For Adobe, we've really been focused on the last 2 bullets and how we can better support teachers and provide resources to classrooms all over the country through our ConnectED program. I saw a question earlier in the polls about how you can get involved with other ConnectED programs, and I did want to just highlight that there are many corporate participants who are working with the White House on this important key initiative. Adobe is donating over $300 million worth of software and professional development support to teachers, but you can see there are a number of other partners with whom you may seek a donation, and we recommend that you go to the White House ConnectED page to learn how to get involved with some of these other providers. For Adobe, since most of you have signed up already, you're aware of this, but we're planning to donate over $300 million, as I said, of software and professional development to Title I schools across the country. Our donation includes creative tools, Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements, as well as e-learning tools, Presenter and Captivate. And then finally, we're also including EchoSign, which is a really great tool for going green and for moving a lot of those forms and contracts and permission slips and things that you're creating on paper to a digital signature platform. Why are we doing this? Adobe, for the past few years, has really been focusing on this idea that creativity can no longer be an elective for some young people, but it's the future for all youth. Every young person that you interact with at your school is going to be going on to a career where creativity is going to be a core competency that they're going to need, whether they're going to become a graphic designer or if they're going to become a scientist. If they're going to be working in a blue-collar or white-collar career, more and more creativity is being demanded as a skill for all young people. And we really believe that schools need to transform in order to make sure that all youth have an opportunity to access and foster their own creativity. And we see ConnectED as a really huge part of that work to support schools in this transformation. So that's why we're participating, and that's why we're so excited to have all of you be a part of the program. At this point, I'd love to hand it over to Matt Nemitz, our Worldwide Education Program Manager for the Adobe Education Exchange, so he can give you a guided tour of our resources and the portal that you'll be using to interact with the program.
All right, hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so can everyone see? Hopefully you can see the homepage of the Education Exchange. So this should be a familiar place to most of you at this point. You came here to apply for the Education Exchange, the ConnectED program, and in doing so became a member of the exchange. And so what I really want to show today is how this site can be your hub for your involvement in this program and the place to go to get a lot of the materials and resources and training and information that you need. So I'm showing the homepage here and I'm signed in with my account. And the quickest way to get to the ConnectED portal for your school is underneath this My Exchange tab. You'll see lots of information about yourself and what you've been doing on the site. But underneath this little banner with your picture is a link directly to the ConnectED initiative page. So if I click that, I'm going to go directly to this portal. And so everyone, this is a demo account. Obviously, Adobe is not a school that's offering education courses and like you all are, but this is an example of what your page looks like. Your school name would be here, obviously, where Adobe Systems is. I'm sorry if this is somewhat small and hard to read. If you want and you're in front of a computer, you can follow along with me and look at your portal page. The address is just connected@adobe.com/connected/portal. And as long as you're signed in, you'll see the page that is customized for you, or you can get to it through this method that I just showed you. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of what's on this page because there's actually quite a bit here. And what you're seeing right now is a view that someone sees if you're one of the contact people on the application. So those of you who are on the call today, I think most of you probably are one of the primary or secondary contacts. If you remember from the application process, you had to provide that information. And being one of those people is important because it gives you access to certain things like being able to download the software and to retrieve your serial numbers for each of the different software applications that you have signed up for and received. So you can see here I can toggle through each of the applications and I can see some, obviously the links to download and the software itself and the serial numbers. And then I can also go directly to workshops for professional development, find lessons and projects that apply to Photoshop elements, and then get support from the community in our forums. So this is a good place to go to quickly get to that information about each software application. And we're going to be, this is the kind of the first iteration of this portal. We're going to be adding to it and expanding it and making it a really amazing experience as we build out more resources and materials and workshops and opportunities for you to learn. This would be a great place to go to find those opportunities. If I scroll down below, I can see the members of my school that are part of the Education Exchange. I'll show you in a moment how to add people. And then just a kind of a feed of recent activities. So you can see here's Melissa. She's part of our program here. And so I can see what she's done recently. Along the right-hand side here, this area is a bunch of different ways to get involved. And I know this is probably, let me zoom in here. This is probably very, very tiny. You can see these are ways that you can either share what you're doing or find quick links to information that you might be looking for. So sharing a resource if you have a lesson plan or a project or something that you've developed as part of your work to incorporate this new software into your classroom. We would love to see you share that content with the rest of the community, and all the other ConnectED educators will get a lot of value from that. You can also create a syllabus, which is basically a collection of resources in an organized format. We have a ConnectED discussion forum where you can browse the different discussions that are going on about this program. I think we're still working on setting that up, so this link will go to a general discussion forum for the moment, but we're setting that up soon. And then I'm going to show this in a minute, but there's a special group for all ConnectEd participants, and I'll show you in more detail what that means. The other things that you can do here, you can start a discussion, you can start a professional development workshop. We have some that Melissa is going to talk about in a moment that are specifically for the ConnectEd program. You can enroll in one of our courses, one of our massive open online courses where we have thousands of people participating in those. And then we have a series of events that are going on pretty much every week. We have a live webinar just like this one where we're covering different topics that might be of interest to you. So an important thing to do is to invite your colleagues who will also be using the software to join the Education Exchange and to become part of your program at your school. And a way to do that is really simply to enter an email address into this invite box. So I'm actually going to use my colleague Claire as an example. If I invite her, basically what happens in the background is Claire gets sent an email that she's now a part of my school on the Education Exchange because she's already a member of this community. She very quickly gets added down to be a member of the school, and so she has access to this page. She now will see this link in her My Exchange, and she can very quickly go and find the same information that you can find. And then on the bottom right here is, and this text is a bit large, but on the bottom right here, you can see all the people that are part of this application. This is if you're someone like Claire who maybe wasn't part of the application process, you can see, okay, at my school, the person I want to contact about professional development is Melissa, or my administrator is Tacy. These are, quick links to the people that would be helpful to that educator as they work on this program. So one thing I want to show really quickly is this ConnectEd group. I'm just going to open this in a new tab. We have this concept of groups within the Education Exchange, and these are the ConnectEd one is actually a private group. So every educator who has received the ConnectEd software from Adobe gets added to this group automatically. And so you see we have 162 educators already in this group. And this is a place for, it's more private, a place for you to kick around ideas, to share your experiences and your wisdom and expertise, to get some help and support from other members of this program. So we want to develop essentially a community within this larger community that's tailored and customized for those who are all involved in this ConnectEd program. We've started some discussions, just some places to go to kick some ideas around each different software application, and we'll be adding resources. But we encourage you all to be involved here as well. We want this to be a vibrant and active group, a place where you can go to find information that's really helpful to you and get the kind of support that you need. We will be actively moderating and managing this group and making sure that it's thriving. This is also a place where we'll post announcements about the program. It's really a great place to go to be in the know and to keep up to date on what's happening and what the latest resources are for you to use. You can also, real quick, you can search the members. So this is another way for you to find other people that maybe are nearby you, who you could connect with face to face, or in an online format, whatever would work for you. We want to be able to give you the ability to connect with other educators who are outside of your school. So that is the kind of quick overview of the Education Exchange platform. Just to reiterate, this portal page is your home, and I did want to. I'm going to transition back to the slides. Let's see here. Melissa, are you gonna?
Do it for you, Matt. Go ahead and talk.
I'll keep talking. So the Education Exchange is obviously a bigger community. There's a lot more going on than just the ConnectEd program. I do want to encourage you all to think about this community as a place for you to go, just to really get all kinds of help and support as you think about what does it look like for me to be more creative in my classroom as a teacher and to inspire my students to be creative. We talk about the Education Exchange as this place to have really a full cycle of getting the professional development and the training and learning that you need through our courses and our workshops and our live events that we run. Then taking what you're learning and accessing teaching materials and projects and lesson plans and giving that new knowledge a try within your classroom. So you're accessing resources and ideas that other folks have shared. And then once you've done that, you might get to a point where you're wanting to share what you're doing and talk about the kinds of things that you've been doing in your classroom, share your knowledge and your expertise, and really enrich the rest of the community who is at different phases of that process. And then really it starts all over again. Maybe you take a new course or you start a new workshop and you learn something new and you give that a try. And so it's this cycle of learning, teaching, and sharing that we really like to talk about. So we have lots of functionality, um, the professional development, the resources, the discussions, the community. This is all a part of making sure that you have a great experience when it comes to using Adobe software and getting the support and help that you need to be successful with it. So I encourage you to spend more time on the Education Exchange to share and to become more active. I guarantee that it will be of benefit to you. All right, Melissa, back to you.
And if you have any questions for Matt about the portal or anything to do with the actually accessing the software and the serial numbers, you can go ahead and pop those into the chat pod and Matt will answer them as I'm going through the next part of our training. So what I'd like to share with you now are a bunch of resources that we've developed to help you make the most of your donation. So I wanted to get started by talking about all of our professional development resources. If you're familiar with the Adobe Education Exchange, as Matt mentioned, you know that there are a ton of really great professional learning resources on the site. But I wanted to make you all aware of the fact that we've created a number of new professional development resources just for ConnectED schools like yours. So I'd love to take you through these now. You're going to see a lot of information and a lot of links, but don't worry. At the end of the presentation today, we'll give you all of those links, so don't feel like you need to furiously be copying anything down. And of course, we are recording this session as well if you'd like to come back and review later. So to get started, one of the first questions that we get about the software is how do I get training for myself so that I know the basics and I can help other teachers at my school or help my students get started? So to answer that question, we've developed a series of self-paced learning modules. These are called workshops on the Adobe Education Exchange. Each one of these should take you between an hour and 2 hours to complete, depending on how deep you want to go. But each of these quick hour-long workshops will really help you understand the tools and the basics of how they work, how they can be used in the classroom, and then get you started thinking about projects and lesson plans and different creative ways to use the software in your school. So we really recommend that you start with completing one or more of these workshops just to get yourself up to speed with the products. And of course, these are great to share with other educators as well. And as you're working through them, you'll find content pieces that you can share with your students if you are teaching the software in a classroom setting. Next, as Matt mentioned, we've planned a whole bunch of really exciting live events and webinars. All of these live events take place in Adobe Connect, just like this session, and we have something scheduled just about every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, focused on a whole variety of different topics. But we're really excited to offer a series of webinars focused just on the tools for ConnectED. So you can see we've got some sessions coming up on Premiere Elements, on EchoSign, Presenter, Captivate, and Photoshop Elements. All of these sessions, it's called Adobe Apps for Education Live. All of these sessions are really focused on showing you what the tools can do. So we bring in an educator who's an expert with the tool, and we show you a beginner level activity that you can do if you've not used the software before. And then we also show you a more advanced activity that you can do. So these are great sessions to tune into or recordings to watch later if you need some inspiration on what to do with one of these tools in your classroom. We'll also be hosting a series of monthly live events focused on a bigger idea and a bigger conversation. So at the beginning of this call, I talked about this need for creativity to be the future for all young people. And we know that you guys buy into that and believe that because you've signed up for ConnectED and you've made the move to get this software into your school. But sometimes that work of fostering creativity and creating a creative culture in your campus can be challenging. So each month we're going to be hosting a webinar where we're going to be welcoming in an expert from the field of creativity or creativity in education to talk to us and inspire us on how we can spread that work beyond just the walls of our classroom and really start impacting our entire school and our entire community with this idea of creativity. So our first session coming up on September 17th will feature Mitch Resnick of the MIT Media Lab talking about the importance of creativity for our shared society. And throughout the rest of the year, we will have a different topic each month. So in October, Tacey's going to be presenting on creativity in the world of work. In November, we'll hear from Susie Bross about project-based learning and innovation in a school setting. In December, we'll look at digital storytelling for school leaders, and then for the rest of the year, there'll also be other sessions as well. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about our online courses. We've been offering MOOCs for teachers around Adobe Creative Tools for the past year or so. All of our courses are listed on the Adobe Education Exchange. We have a very exciting list of offerings of courses for the coming year. So there's lots of opportunities to learn about different kinds of digital media in an online MOOC environment. All of our MOOCs are blended in that you'll complete asynchronous content, but you'll also have opportunities to connect synchronously with experts, with your peers, and to create really meaningful and engaging assignments that combine digital media with instructional design to help push your teaching further. We've created a MOOC specifically for the ConnectED audience. This MOOC, Adobe Youth Voices Create Change, is really designed to help ConnectED schools make the most of the Elements products that are part of your donation. So if you're not familiar, the Adobe Youth Voices program is a program of the Adobe Foundation that focuses on igniting creative confidence in youth. And they have a really amazing model for working with youth who are in under-resourced parts of the world. So how do you get young people who don't have, all the opportunities and all the access that some of more resourced youth have to start using media to bring voice to the way that they see the world? AYV's been doing this for years. They've been really successful. And what this course is going to do is provide you with a model for how you can work with the young people in your community to start creating digital media and tell the stories of your school. So I really recommend that you take a look at this course, maybe engage or share it with some of the other teachers in your building who you think would really like to start using digital media in the classroom but need a model or a place to start. Finally, the last piece of professional development that we're going to be offering for ConnectED is a Train the Trainer program. So what this program does is it allows you to build the capacity of your technology trainers on campus. It's an 8-week-long course that starts in January, and through completing the course, you'll learn how to train teachers on 4 of the products that are part of the ConnectED donation: Photoshop Elements, Premiere Elements, Presenter, and Captivate. At the end of the course, your trainers will earn a digital Adobe Education Trainer certificate. It will be credentialed to train anyone, anywhere on those 4 products, not just in ConnectED schools. So this is a really good way to build your capacity or the capacity of the trainers on your campus and make sure that you have the ability to get everyone at your school trained on ConnectED products, not just those who are part of the Adobe Education Exchange. So the last thing I wanted to mention is that in addition to all of this professional development, all the resources that Matt showed you, we have a really incredible support network here at Adobe. We've just started an effort to kind of map out where all of the Adobe Education trainers are across the country. But we have an incredible group of Adobe Education leaders, Adobe Campus leaders, Adobe Education trainers, folks who are ready to help you implement, get training, plan for how to make the most out of this donation. So if you go to that group that Matt showed you, the URL is on your screen, you can find someone to help you to answer your questions. The great thing about ConnectED is this is a program that's going to reach 15,000 schools across the country. So whatever issues you're having, questions you have, you're not alone. There's probably someone else out there asking the question. And we're hoping to really create a network to help get questions answered and to really drive success. So what we wanted to do to close out was just to ask you to continue supporting creativity and education through your work, to participate with us on the Education Exchange. Let us know how things are going. Tell us about your successes and your challenges. We're really eager to learn from you and to learn with you about how best to drive creativity and put it at the center of everything that you do. Oops, I think I have one more slide, which is just the contact information if you have questions. Skipped ahead a little too quick there. There you go. So if you have any questions at all throughout the process, you can go to that group and connect with other ConnectED educators and experts from around the globe. You can also send an email to us at any time at edx@adobe.com or connect with us on Twitter. Our handle is @AdobeEDU. The hub for ConnectED is edx.adobe.com/connected, and that's a great place to go if you're not quite sure where to find something. And that's also a great link to share with other Title I schools and school leaders that you know so that we can start to grow this network and grow the program. So at this point, I'm going to switch to that ending layout that I just had up for a second. Here's where you can find all those links that I just shared. So if you take a look at the link pod or the important links pod all the way on the right hand of your screen, you can copy and paste any of that content if you'd like to save those links. Also, they'll be in the recording. Take a moment, please, to give us some feedback on the session, how it went for you today, and please use the chat pod to share any questions that you have that we can address for you now. Thanks for joining today as well. See, James has a question about whether or not you can apply for more than one school. James, the application form is really set up for an individual school to go ahead and fill out. So it's not possible to do sort of a batch application for a district or many schools at one time. However, if you have more than one school that you'd like to apply for, you can certainly fill out more than one application. I also see a question from Vanessa about Adobe Max. Adobe Max is our annual conference for creatives all around the world. This year it's taking place in Los Angeles on October 5th. And before Adobe Max this year, we're going to be hosting an unconference for educators. So if you're in the Los Angeles area or if you're planning to attend Max, we would love to have you join us for that unconference. You'll see some information about that on the Education Exchange under the Live Events tab. I see Gail has a question about the Train the Trainer. Yes, if you've participated in one of our Train the Trainers in the past, you can choose to enroll in the Train the Trainer course specifically for ConnectED, which is taking place in January. Much of the content will be the same. The difference will be the products covered. I see Vanessa's asking about grants for Max. I believe there's discounted pricing, Vanessa. I'll give you the link to Max and you can check it out to see if there's anything helpful there. If there are other questions, please do share them in the chat pod now. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you on the Education Exchange, and thank you for joining us this morning. Wonderful. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and close the Connect room now. And if you do have questions moving forward, you can feel free to send us an email or contact us on Twitter. Thank you all so much for your participation.